like to introduce our first guest speaker today, who is Viktoriya Nikitina. Viktoriya came to us through the Young Entrepreneurs program called Getting Down to Business, familiarly known as GD2B. I think, Viktoriya, you'd arrived in Australia around about 2 to 3 years earlier from Germany, had no contacts, no networks, but with a business idea. You're now the owner of Blue Sky Windows, a premium window and door manufacturing company, a company that focuses on sustainability and energy efficiency, and you've created jobs for at least 10 manufacturers and 3 installation teams at least. So no doubt, already through the revenues that you've created and taxes that those people pay, you've paid for your services that you got through the Getting Down to Business program. Viktoriya, you started this business as a family business in the southern suburbs of Melbourne. How did you come to be the managing director of the company?
Well, my parents retired and I had to start it. But yeah, it was a very long journey. And I finally came to the point where with the learning and everything I had, when my parents did say that they want to retire, I found enough, strength to say that I will keep it running and I'll keep going rather than just selling or closing the door and just going somewhere else. So yeah, that's where we are.
So tell us your story about becoming an entrepreneur. What are some key highlights or milestones along the way?
Well, the hardest was the first few years, the start, because we arrived as a new country. I had 0 contacts, like 0 information. Like we knew what we were going to do, but we didn't know where to start and how to start, because it's completely different. Even how to do marketing is different from state to state and especially country to country. So we started really like blindfolded, so we started like going to community groups and just talking about bits and pieces, but it wasn't really getting us too far away. Then I applied to Getting Down to Business, and that finally started up that sort of network of like-minded people, because before that it was my family, my customers, my suppliers, that was pretty much it. So that created a network of like-minded people to exchange ideas. I got a mentor who I'm still seeing constantly every month or 2. He's still sort of my backup and in a way like my rock when it comes to the business sort of parts, like business support. And I know like even if I just need to talk about my issues and just to whinge, he will be, he'll be there for me at different points in times. And he can always stay surprised by some crazy ideas that I have. So yeah, that was the most important part. And like just understanding and seeing that you're not on your own, that there are other people that sort of do it. It's very inspirational because, like it sets up a benchmark on like what else can you do, and, like willing to achieve more. And it also, creates a network where you start off, because after that, like I've done some bits with the government. Like I've been on Ministerial Multicultural Business Council, like it just went like upwards, with different organizations. And also now I'm Vice President of Australian Ukrainian Chamber of Commerce. So again, like I'm with Victorian Multicultural Commission, like with all that kind of more giving back work, where it's not just, but that's point of start when you sort of are in your little corner, especially in a family business, or when you start up, you've got no idea. It's a big step out of comfort zone. It's very important to get the right network, the right information, and the right people around you So the one that's going to bring you up, not bring you down, you know, and because it's always, there are those stages when it can go both ways.
So tell me, Viktoriya, has COVID been a good or bad business opportunity for you?
I thought it's going to be really bad and we prepared for the worst, but it ended up really good. So, and that's also like my concept of thinking, like we always, you know, prepare for the worst and just welcome the good. So I like to be a panic director and sort of, you know, always worry about things that didn't happen yet or might not even happen. Yeah, so what was great really in terms of COVID for us, because we do in a high-end space, so a lot of companies were bringing things directly from Europe, you know, like windows and doors, particularly what we do. So with the COVID, because it sort of started off, originally the issue was in Europe, and a lot of customers and a lot of companies, they pretty much were looking at local manufacturers instead. So that opened doors for us into sort of, you know, like we actually, like we skyrocketed with that, like just inquiries and everything. It was just incredible. Yeah. So our turnover actually went up. So even so, I did prepare my JobKeeper application if things go sour, like we didn't have to proceed with that. So that was really amazing. And yeah, like I don't think I'm used to Zoom. I haven't had to do a lot of Zoom meetings, and I guess I was lucky because we're still allowed industry, because I can't imagine staying at home for more than 3 days in a row. Not because the house is bad, I just can't even imagine that to happen. I don't think I would survive. So yeah, so that I guess was my biggest luck. And we moved premises, so now we've got our own factory and we've got like a nice showroom and everything. So we sort of use that time to transition into the new place without, you know, people like, you know, running around. And
having a great idea for a business is one thing. Having the mindset to be able to actually deliver that great idea is another. How did you evolve that mindset? What were the contributing factors to you developing the mindset to be an entrepreneur?
Graham, my mentor. Graham, yeah. Now, yeah, all the learning, the information that we were sort of going through with, when I got into Graham's group and getting down to business, I still sometimes, because I don't want to look through emails, I'd give Graham a call and I'm like, oh, remember that presentation about PR? Can you just send it through to me? Like about, you know, like I want to read through that. So now, yeah, valuable information plus the network when it's like within the right group of people. So apart from, so there is a thought and then like we develop it further, you know, into something that can be usable, yeah, like and applicable into reality. That was great. And the inspiration, the biggest factor, because for me, I'm very like emotional type of person. So for me, it's all like, it needs to click, you know, like when you see someone else who does something amazing, you're like, oh, I can do it, you know, like that you get that like click, and someone needs to push you in the right spot at the back, like, and you know, and then you can do more. You sort of open up your abilities in a better way.
A program that assembles a number of other young entrepreneurs all learning together was also useful to you, obviously.
Yeah, that was that kick, you know, that like, look, all those people, like they can do this, like I can do it also, you know, like I can develop, I can grow, like I'm not on my own sort of thing.
Because I can remember visiting a minister at one stage with you.
Yes, yeah, we did.
And that minister's answer was, as individuals, these people would have succeeded regardless. Whereas what you're now telling me is that the collective around you allowed you to build the mindset and the skills together.
Yeah, definitely. Well, my comment on that, you know, like it's not an argue, like I want to believe that I would have been successful eventually, like either way, you know, I don't want to say that I would be a failure, a complete failure otherwise. I hope it's not the case. But yeah, the contribution definitely insane, because the problem is like you don't have the direction. You know, you might have the vision, the idea, but if you don't have the direction, that's it. You know, like sometimes you need, like what we do with Graham. He doesn't give me answers, but he asks me the right questions.
Yes.
And the questions that I wouldn't have asked to myself.
Yes.
You know, so that's the biggest part.
The policy side of some of this. What would be the impact of more young entrepreneurs under 25 starting businesses in Victoria, in your view? What would be the consequence of that happening?
I think it's massive because, and I think it's the right age, you know, like, because if I didn't start it at the very beginning, you know, if I would have came here, went, found a job and, you know, started a family, I wouldn't have the guts to turn around, and instead of, you know, developing a successful career working somewhere else, just one day say, no, I can do it. But when you're at that sort of age, you know, you're very, like, you're not scared of a lot of things. You can go for a push. And if you fail, you can quickly recover and go back up. Like, you've got so much energy, but you don't have enough knowledge. So if you can get that combination, it's, yeah, definitely. Like, I think people need to be encouraged at that age, so that before they sort of start their careers, the one that they wouldn't want to go away from, you know, that stability, that sense of stability, that it's like comfortable and it's already created, where they're just stuck there and there is no need to change anything. So yeah.
So if you were to meet that same minister again, or the new minister for that matter, or policymakers, you know, in government, what advice would you give them about supporting young entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think they focus too much on jobs and in existing big companies, the one that don't bring too many innovations because they're too sort of comfortable on their seats on the long-term experience and long-term clients. And I think the biggest impact with young people and sort of new companies, in order to survive, they have to be, you know, innovative. They have to bring in something to the table, so that creates jobs, and that also benefits like innovation, environment, sustainability, you know, because you have to make something new and better in order to succeed, in order to overtake the existing strategies.
So there's a whole lot of creativity and energy that young people bring to business, the business world, that perhaps isn't tapped into if they simply get a job inside someone else's business.
Yeah, they will develop, they will grow, but they'll probably stay in that comfortable cocoon, you know, of someone else's environment that has been created for them.
Well, thank you, Viktoriya.